Hello everybody, how's everyone day? Ame Gakita desu. Alright, today we are going to talk about Toriyama Akira Sensei. And in case anyone who are not aware, he is well known for his artwork creation and manga called the Dragon Ball series. And well, the thing is, right, a lot of people tend to only know him as the one who is behind Dragon Ball, but he is actually well known for quite a few other things. The way he influenced not just over people in reading mangas along the line, or even to the point that he actually influenced other manga and game creators as well as anime creation in a way that just prove how big his influence is in that tree industry. So I won't talk too much about that, but the one thing I will say that the way he influenced a lot of fan, the way to think about mangas along the line, or even to the point of gathering quite a huge fan base in a way, it's really proof how much of a success he had as a manga creator. Only not just because of that, but the way his artwork was able to branch out to even games, to even anime itself. And I got quite a few things that I will share about the anime and mangas and stuff in a way, but the one thing we all have to understand is that he had actually came he had actually came quite a long way to become this successful in from how I look at it. And if you guys still don't see how it is, if some people still go along the line that he just the one who draw about Dragon Ball only, or even people who is thinking that, oh, those who like his artwork is just a wee or otaku, or people who just doesn't have a life along the line, then number one, those guys can just F off because they did not do a proper research. Number two, you guys are just trying to disrespect a person who is had a so huge of a legacy in the manga, anime, and game industry that you a lot of people will be saying like, how the hell is he our how is he having an influence in a game? Well, the thing is, right, I'll list out two games and you guys go and think about it. Blue Dragon and Dragon Quest. Both of them got the word dragon, not just because it seems like it doesn't mean it just because the title seems like based off Dragon Ball, but in fact, what you guys might not be aware that Dragon Ball is actually based off one of his earlier one shot, a series that was supposed to be before Dragon Ball, which normally like a prototype, a sample before Dragon Ball became what it is right now. So if you guys do a little bit of research, did a little bit of stuff, go to look at the list of work. I'll put up this link in the description below so you guys can check it out. He had a list of manga that not a lot of people tend to know about. Some of them being one shot, meaning to say that there was story that did not make the actual cut. They can be a story indicating along the line. And the one interesting thing a lot of people tend to forget is that his previous work called Dr. Slump, a very interesting story that I came about after I read Dragon Ball, is that this series was got like 200 it's already the 200 plus 236 in chapter, and not a lot of people tend to understand this story even though it's funny. It's just about a robotic little girl, which is similar to how Astro Boy was, but it's based off a young robot girl. And along the line, you will notice that the more you read, the more, there is a lot of one shot. Meaning to say that after one chapter end, he decided to create a lot of different story to make it to a point of creating the next best manga. It was only in my opinion, I might be wrong, is that if you guys look at the story called Dragon Boy, the story was called it's more towards the Dragon Knight Boy, but it was called Dragon Boy for short. So if you guys look at that title, Dragon Boy itself, it is very obvious where Dragon Ball come from. It's just that if you replace the word boy with Bolu, that is when magic start to come. That released into the whole world called the phenomenon of Dragon Ball. The ridiculous moment of how a young alien boy with a monkey tail was able to go around and trying to get the 7 Dragon Ball crystal to make a wish, and how he also been going along the line of whacking evil doer who is trying to misuse the power of the Dragon Ball crystal. And it's kind of interesting in a way that the story just kind of like have a feel interesting story influence from Journey of the West, which basically is about Shunjoku, and the main character is really known as Shunjoku, the Japanese version of Su Wukong. So the thing is that the more you read, he has really took the point of looking into historical story and implement those things into his manga, which also kind of like if you guys go and search it out on some other manga, he really is the one who encourage people to make use of old mystical story or history to be implemented into story as a reference, so that people can technically relate to the manga in a way. So even I myself, when I write out not manga but light novel in a way, I tend to use history or mystical creature or this thing along that line to put it into my story, to implement it into my story, because it's so much easier to have a reference than looking up into imagination in your mind. If you're using a reference that is already existing in fiction already, using those help a lot. So that is really one of the influence that he did have over me. And mind you guys, why would I, if people say that do I like Dragon Ball, in the past, yes. Now not so, because of how ridiculous the story are becoming, in my opinion. But Dragon Ball, although it's not the first manga I read. First manga I ever read, I recall, is still Half Ramen, but it is one of the manga that one of the manga series that my uncle have owned next to Half Ramen. So at that time when I read finish to the later chapter on Half Ramen, the next book that I read wasn't Detective Conan, but Dragon Ball. And yes, I read Dragon Ball manga before the anime, and how much I hate the anime in a way. Reason being is just very simple. If anyone know about the infamous anime filler, where basically Goku is well known for putting out his hand, trying to gather the energy all over the universe into one big power, one big attack, and how much anime episode got to that point. Some people will call it the Friesen which is basically them like every episode 20 plus, like every 20 plus minute, it's just basically a recap, a refiller, or basically the same thing again and again and again, that it got so ridiculous that as a young boy I was like, what am I even I actually questioned myself, what am I even watching at the time? But it's good enough that chapter nowadays got an actual, like all the episode nowadays in anime got like following after the chapter in some ways, as well as making it like was able to, like I guess it's because of computer along the line, the technology improved, that people was able to pump out more episode or actual episode in a way. But that doesn't mean it doesn't take time to create an episode. It still take time, people still need to draw, color have to add in, but at least now you can digitally add color in. You don't need to like color using a color pencil or pen along the line now. But the one thing I would do say is that Dragon Ball is really one of the first few manga that I ever read as a young little boy, and it's really interesting because of how funny the manga was. I still recommend people to read the manga because it's, even if you can't read the word as a young boy, mind you guys, I read manga when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and the first one, yes, I know I say the first manga was City Hunter, But City Hunter is technically the second manga. Is actually came after by accident after I read the first. So if you are going by the first series I ever read, like the whole series, is first manga definitely City Hunter. I can't really recall which chapter. It was midway down the line. It was the first book I take up, read, and then I find it funny. But Half Ramen was the after chapter, which I like a lot because how some people drop into the hot spring and they became another so-called a different animal, a different gender along the line, and the only way to cure their power is by pouring hot water along the line, or taking a hot bath along the line, that they became back to normal. And one of the earliest manga that I read, yes, is right after Half Ramen, was Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball, mind you guys, I don't understand the words. Not the all those I read in the past was all in Chinese, alright. The only thing is that I don't understand Chinese as a 3 or 4 years old boy. So I don't understand a single word. So what made me drawn to Dragon Ball is that even without understanding the word, I was able to kind of like roughly understand based on the drawing, the way they do, the way they move. So even till now, if a manga can draw me in as a boy without even understanding the word itself, it just proves how much the author was able to create magic just with drawing. It doesn't mean that you need to add in word to make people understand. All you need is just drawing. And that just proves how much of an artist that Akira Sensei is. At least that's how I feel. And well, the anime one will be kind of funny, but if we talk about anime itself, anyone who knows very well about the spin-off, the Dragon Ball Z, the Dragon Ball, a lot of different movie along the line, it wasn't that huge in the past, but it became so huge now because of how people start looking into spin-off, looking into past anime world or manga world along the line. And it was really a good thing that Dragon Ball caught the eye of many people, and it became such a phenomenon to the point that people just can't get enough of it. And obviously it got milked to the point of having a lot of spin-off, a lot of different story, a lot of different games along the line. And it's kind of interesting to see Dragon Ball game when it didn't exist in the past, but it became a fighting game now. And it's really kind of interesting seeing quite a lot of people that is younger than me playing Dragon Ball game or reading Dragon Ball manga, or even to the point of watching the anime version. It's really kind of like show how much Dragon Ball has stand against the time, with some of the well-known series like Doraemon or Detective Conan along the line, even though Detective Conan is still one of the longest series next to Hajime no Ippo. So it's kind of interesting to see quite a lot of stories still ongoing even till now, and yet Dragon Ball became a part of history. That why I would say one funny thing about Dragon Ball in a way is that maybe someone had made a wish on the 7 crystal ball, the 7 dragon crystal ball, and say that the manga can never die. So yeah, I think that may be what that might be what happened. But the one thing is, earlier I did mention along the line that Akira Sensei have an influence in the game. But the thing is, right, anyone who know very well about the Blue Dragon and as well as Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is a very interesting game even till now. That got quite a lot of spin-off, quite a lot of game, but it was technically previously known as Dragon Warrior, but it was later became part of Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is a game that, if anyone who see the artwork, is so damn obvious that the artwork is basically based off Dragon Ball. As well as Blue Dragon, also another series that I came across when I saw the artwork. The reason why I know about Blue Dragon, I know a lot of people doesn't know about Blue Dragon, but Blue Dragon is really one of the earlier is that when I saw the main character, the main boy, it was so obvious the art was based off Akira Sensei Dragon Ball's artwork. I mean, like, it's at the time there is Total Slum, a lot of other things, but when you look at the way the character look, in a way, it's so obvious. So when you think about it, that he has an influence in creating character design, it just proves to show that how much he has an influence in the game as well. It doesn't mean that he has to be the part of the production or the story writing along the line, but him adding his own take on the character design prove how much people respect his artwork and wanting him to create the artwork. Even though there are now a lot of people saying along the line that they want games or design to be so realistic in a way. If people can still go and look for Akira Sensei to create character, even though I know a lot of people will be like, hey, people eyes don't look that way, or isn't look realistic along the line. Yeah, people look out for him because they want it to be fantasy, they want it to be not real, it's not based on real life world, it's not based off real life things. And it just proves that if it can get cater a group of people to like the game, even good. It doesn't mean that Akira Sensei did not have a step into game design just because of Dragon Ball, but into other game as well. This just proves how much he has an influence in the game, which kind of like beg the question, which I will not show some of the bad comment on Twitter. Nor will I show Ref or Hero Hill video about the stuff, because if I show their point, it will kind of like giving those crowd chaser a little bit of attention. But I will put up a few things that I would say about those people who trying to downplay Akira Sensei passing, or trying to indicate that he come out with the worst design along the line. Number one thing I will have to point out to those people, F off, because they don't understand what and how much influence that Akira Sensei have in the whole industry. He has stepped into game character design. He had stepped into the way of helping to pave way to animate, as because he's the one who come up with some of the character design, title, or even some of the concept or story concept in some of the story. It's just proof how, even if he didn't write the manga, he's still having a control on some of the anime story in some ways. And it just proves that even if the story may seem ridiculous, it just mean at least the good thing about those stories is that he has his own take as well. Even till now, the latest Dragon Ball Daima, there is still in there is currently in this year 2024. It's just proof that he has some sort of influence in the story as well. So it, even if the story seems ridiculous to an extent because of how much how much it is being milked in a way, like Dragon Ball have been milked for so many years, but if he still have like some sort of if he's still able to keep on going and create such a nice story to many people fan, it just proves how much drive he has as a creator, as a artist, as a storyteller along the line. It just proves how much he is able to go on even at the age of 68. The only thing that is sad to know is that due to health issue and technically old age, he had passed away. He has gone to a better world in my opinion. But and the only thing I would say is that we can Yasuraka ni onete kudasai. It's really I mean, like, it's only best to let him rest in peace in a way. And there's nothing bad to talk about him, but it's really insane in my take now that there are people who will go along the line of trying to put up a bad PR about him, or trying to state that all his artwork have like one person from Sweet Baby Inc. trying to indicate that he come out with the best and the worst black people. When in the first way, when you look at the character, when you think about it, does he look black to you just because he's black in color? It's kind of like funny that if they are referring to Mr. Popo, he's not even a black guy in the first place. It's just that yes, he may be influenced from a black character, a black real life people. I mean, like it's not wrong for like look at One Piece. A lot of character was based off real life person, but it doesn't mean like for Mr. Popo to be based off a real life person to be a black character. It just based, if you look at the rate, he's not even a freaking human. It's a freaking fantasy character, which is basically a genie in a way. So it's kind of insane that people trying to take things into their own mind. It's really proof how bad some people are and trying to indicate that I don't understand the way he influenced game or manga along the line, or how much people are trying to like his kind of work. It's because people don't read his artwork, the manga, understand what they are. They just say, oh, it's just a manga, it is for the otaku, it's for the weak. Yeah, it just proves how much narcissistic those people are, how much of a huge ego or pride they have in their mind that they don't read this kind of thing. And to me, I would say again, if they take a moment to read, if they still don't understand it, that's on them. But then again, I do hope you guys can understand that Akira Sensei have a huge influence in many ways. It's just that some people can't take it. We have to accept it that there will be some haters along the line. The only way as a fan, as appreciator of him, is that we will only pray for his afterlife. But the main important thing, at least from how I look at it, is that we can only just ignore those crowd chaser or haters along the line, because giving them attention is just basically giving them the moment to shine or cater some sort of attention to them, and that is what they want. So often more than not, I would just ignore them if we can. Don't let them have any some form of attention. If they don't like it, they can move on with their life. If they keep on living the life of trying to hate on a dead person or a dead person outward along the line, then that's on them. There's nothing more we can do for them, because like again, they reach the fourth stage of from sane person to an insane person. They really their hate, the emotion have reached to a point of obsession. They come up with weird reasoning to justify their hate along the line. Then there's nothing for us to talk along, because it's just basically they are going through denial, the fourth phase, and that is just basically insane. But then again, when Red Sun, Hill Sun talk along the line of listing those really those comment out, to me, I would say it is tasteful about those kind of people trying to bash on Akira Sensei. But then again, when you think about the other side, maybe they just couldn't get, like maybe they were either jealous or they were along the line of unable to get the point of the manga itself or the artwork itself. Who knows? But then again, I'm just kind of like giving a little bit of random chatting, giving a little bit of understanding that Akira Sensei, had influence in two popular game now because of his artwork, which is basically Blue Dragon as well as Dragon Quest. It just proves how much influence Akira Sensei has in the game industry. I mean, like, look at the number of games he has stepped into. But then again, I guess people will only be hated by hater. But that's just a random chat, alright, guys. But anyway, write in the comment below what do you guys think about the legacy of Akira Sensei. I mean, like, the number of influence he have, of reference he has from other manga or anime along the line. It just proves how much of a legacy he had left. It's really, really, at least to me. But just write in the comment below how do you guys think about the legacy of Akira Sensei. And don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat. And with that being said, hope you guys have a nice day or night. Bye.